RDM, and I need to tear down this GX50 engine to make it into a V-twin. We're gonna get it down to the bare parts like this GX35 here. And I need to do this to make a V-twin engine. And need to get dimensions, all that. I have a GX35 and a GX25 just for more pieces to compare and see what's different and all that. So let's get to it. First thing I'll do is drain the oil. Oil looks clean, no metal, no nothing, not a full tank of oil. Okay. Start zipping some screws out. Very excited. I have another engine I think coming tomorrow, because to make a V-twin, you need two of them. And I purposely try to buy two different engines, or hopefully different engine manufacturers, so we can start to figure out how many factories are making these and all. I'm of course going to contact China, my guys over there, and see if they can help me out with that too. Give me some backstory. Find out who the people I talk to represent. We are going to be importing, or maybe I won't, but the people building these V-twins will be importing a lot of these engines. I'm just going to make the short block. Then people buy their own 4-stroke engines, take them apart on their own, and complete the motor. So I just zipped a bunch of screws out of the bottom. It's really anything I see. First part off. Well, actually, that's not true. You got this part off, little covery thing. All plastic with two little metal bushings. The pull start. Not sure how it works yet, but we'll get there. The bottom guard, cool. I want to get the tank off. So let me first pop off the air filter so I can access the fuel lines easily. I like that, cute. That's probably good for the 2-strokes. We should maybe look into using these or trying them. It looks super official. Oh, they have another. I didn't see that. This bolt is black. All the other ones are shiny. This one's shiny. I feel like there's also, there is. There's a tube that I believe goes straight to the valve cover. It came off very easily. This piece is off. I'll use this little baby screwdriver. I'm going for the fuel lines. They were barely on, but that probably would have worked. Fuel tank. There was noise in here. Not good. Whatever, moving on. We're getting a lot smaller already. The bottom inside, that came off. Is there supposed to be a hole there? Is there something wrong? I feel like there's supposed to be a hole there. Alright, moving on. I want to throw the carburetor, okay. And this is the intake manifold. Also, people, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube. Not that I want to really grow the YouTube, or it'll grow on its own as I make better videos, but I need we're gonna have to put a big group effort in to get these V-twins made. I mean, I'm doing it, it's gonna happen no matter what. I already bought the engines. I spent a lot of hours designing parts. Cool. We're gonna need to get a lot of people involved to actually pull this off. And I'm not talking about just getting the engine done. I mean, that's gonna happen no matter what. What I'm talking about pulling off is I want to rush these onto market. I want these to be available to buy as soon as possible. And to do that, we're gonna have to let a lot of people know about what's going on. we are going to do pre-orders, pre-sales. I haven't figured that out exactly. I do have a long history of doing that. People do get impatient at the end of the day. They always get their stuff. This one, a little wavy washer on there. Cool. I guess it was Loctite. The clutch. Let's see how it compares to the 35cc. The same size, but it is heavy. It's steel. I can see the spring is obviously stronger. Okay. Don't want to mix them up. It must be held by a pin. 2 washers. This cover. We will not be using this cover. Thirteen's a little loose. It's a 13 though. I could get a 1/2 inch, tighten it up. But we'll give it a go. Not afraid to hurt the nut. Easy. Oh yeah, I remember from last time, that was the easy part, getting the nut off. The flywheel might fight me. It's on, but okay, there's a little gap there, about 1 millimeter. And I want to send a ping. The copper will send a thud. This will send a ping. Hold the whole engine up in the air by the flywheel. I'm just going to tap the nut. Millimeter gap went away. That's the way to do it. Oh yeah, it's a cool looking piece. I like it. You can maybe cut these stubs off to get a little bit of a lower profile, but you could. That won't make it weaker. But we're not going to be running a clutch on this face. There we go. 3 millimeter for these ignitions. 3 millimeter Allen key. Not the bolt size. All right. A spark plug wire. You're in the way. Okay, this I guess is black as ground. Red is kill switch. I guess it doesn't matter which flash I have to put. Oh, man. I might just leave that together. It's fighting me too much. Don't want to damage the ignition. We're trying to cut that off. Because the connector here has a little vibration resistant locking tab. And it's overly effective. Anyways, cute. I love these little ignitions. I don't think it's any different than a GX35 ignition. So this is a real Honda. The clone flywheel looks better though than the real Honda. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna pull this tube off. Oh, look at that. 1 bolt left on the ignition. I mean, the intake manifold. Interesting little intake, huh? That is a bigger hole than the 35. You see that though? I feel like there should be a hole there. You can see there's a little hole in there. Maybe that hole does it. Moving on. Oh, look, an additional gasket in there. Okay. These are fun engines to work on. So far, everything has gone very smooth. So here's the 2 rubber hoses. Nice quality. And I may get to this video, I might make it a separate video, but I can explain how the oiling system works. It's very interesting. Valve cover, 8 millimeters. So it's mostly 8 millimeters and 4 millimeter Allen keys. The clutch has 2 17s and a 13. So not a lot of tools to put this motor together so far. Of course, you need pliers and all for the hose clamps. This looks a little bit out of place and chewed up, but it looks like it still would have worked. This white piece is one of the most interesting pieces. When I do an oiling explanation, I'll take that white piece out. I'll show you how all that works. I think these valve covers are really cool. Anyways. We got the cam. It still has compression. Did not take it apart enough yet to defeat the compression. Let me get a socket for the spark plug. Be right back. Probably not the right spark plug, but a 16mm fits. Not the right socket. I don't know if I said spark plug. What a cute little. I guess I consider the spark plug hardware. We're getting there. Now it spins easy. Okay, enough playing with it. All the screws are at the bottom. All the hoses are off. Should I do the top end or let me do the bottom end? Because it's cool to leave the top end together. So there's a pin here and a pin here, diagonal of each other. So let me start here by this pin as a pry point. That cracked easily. And the other one is here. I don't see a pry point, but oh, here we go. Inside here. Very nice. And that's that. It seems like that kind of Moto Seal stuff versus Ultra Gray, where this stuff kind of stays like kind of tacky. And the Ultra Gray is like almost like an epoxy. So in here, you have a little one-way valve, just a reed, and it connects to here. So as the piston goes up and down, or let's explain the oiling system. We'll do that maybe in later or another video. But anyways, here's the bottom. We're gonna actually discard this on the V-twin. Nice piece, but useless to us. And here's what we're down to. Beautiful crankshaft, nice bearings, the belt, and the pull start cog, plus the valve train. All right, let's pop out the valve train so we can get the crank out. So there's this pin here. I could grab it from this side, but I know there's a little hole here I can push on. Now the pin's sticking out more. I think I can just grab it. Make sure the cam lobe isn't touching anything. The compression release might be hitting, but oh well. It's still coming out. There's that pin out. And now I believe I should be able to just push this belt to the side. There it goes, slowly. Okay, the belt's to the side, I think. And then the cam's out. Oh, it has an internal compression release. I can't view it. Very cool. We will be reusing the belt, the cam, all these valves. So now this belt is loose. I could just pull this crank out. Be gentle with it. Get out of here, pliers. All right, moving on. Guess it automatically cut the video. Cute looking valves in there. That looks like it might have a steel bore. Or something. I do have something like that. Let me get it. This might not be magnetic enough. We'll check that later. That's definitely a steel bore. Very, very cool. Because actually I looked it up, these don't have any sort of lining, the 35s. They are a cheaper case. And it's actually like a really high silicone aluminum. Apparently that's been done many times, even on car engines. No liner, aluminum block. But this one has a steel liner, very cool. Very hard to see the cross hatch, but there is a little bit, and it has steel valve seats. Okay, let me pop these valves out. Cute little springs and retainers. I looked it up, they're both the same. I don't need to keep them separate. Now the intake has a stem sealed, the exhaust does not. Nice little intake. Anyways, because the exhaust does not, there's no friction, so I'm gonna have to hold the back side of the valve. Okay, that's done. Now when I let go, it'll just drop. Yep. And the exhaust valve. It looks like they may have run this engine just to test it. It looks a little smoky. Sweet. So this is how they would sell you a bare block. They usually include the lifters and rockers, whatever you want to call them. I know this just falls off, yeah. Intake stem seal. Cool, so there's the bare block. Steel liner, very nice. I'll take some measurements. You know, I'll take one now. Here's what people want to see. The length of the sleeve is about 56, 57 millimeters. And that's not including much of that chamfer, maybe a little bit. All right, so 57. The piston is 28.8 long, 29 long it says online. And it's actually only a 40. I thought it was supposed to be 40. I mean, I'm thinking of the other engine maybe. Okay, so this is a 40 bore. So then what is this guy? The same size. So this just has more stroke then. I wonder, did they sell me a 35cc engine? I don't think so. Here's a cool part of the engine. I know I'm going to make a separate oiling video, or maybe I'll talk about it. But there's a hole drilled through this crank that connects to these cross holes here, and then the holes in the center here. And you know, the piston going up and down creates a pumping action in this crankcase, which is separated. You know, there's a little shield here from this oil chamber in here. So when there's that pumping action, it would pump oil and air through here. And the reason it won't blow back through that hole is because of that one-way valve, which then pumps that misted air that's pumping through the center hole that's coming from this chamber, this is the mist generator. Here's the little propeller blades that generate the mist. It pumps it up to the valve cover. Well, actually, not quite the valve cover. This guy here, which feeds these passages. And notice even there's a wall here. This is all part of the misting generator chamber. All right, this is part of the misting generator. This is not. That bottom crankcase one-way valve feeds into this. through this guy. And right next to that is this little receptacle, which has a hole that connects. You can see it in there. You can see that hole, it feeds down through there. This here does not connect to that. I checked. This here only connects to here. And that's where the this guy comes in. On the other engine, it's black. But that goes on here. And you see that little rubber piece? It makes sure it seals. This goes in here and screws in. And then there's this little like kind of maze here, but ultimately the maze feeds into this, which feeds to the carburetor. And if there's any blow by past the piston rings, this goes through here. And it has to go through this mesh, which is a oil mist air separator, so that hopefully you're just burning air that's blow by, and all the oil returns down through this hole. Now all these little pegs actually don't touch anything. They're freestanding. There's like a millimeter gap underneath them when it's installed, and there's ones on the top too, and there's actually ones in the surface that are really hard to see. And they all connect through this chamber here to this guy. And the way it works is, because of the pistons pump in action and this one-way valve, there's always going to be negative pressure in here and a positive pressure up in here. So this is going to have the positive pressure because it's getting fed by that one-way valve. So it's always spraying out of this hole here. And then some of it is going through the valve cover as well. It's designed so it keeps returning fresh oil back to the misting chamber to get turned back into mist. And any excess clean air through the carburetor. Well, not clean air, it could include exhaust emissions itself, which is blow by. So that's why this engine has good emissions ratings. But more importantly, the oiling system works for us. We are going to maintain the oiling generator. So I looked, it looks like the crankshafts might have the same stroke, but this one's a 39 bore, this one is a 40 bore. And I did some math. I think I can get like 35 millimeter stroke out of this. So we're gonna do the math there. That's how much displacement we can get. I gotta check too. I don't know if they sent me the right piston. I don't know what's going on. It is cool, it has a steel liner. Here's some views of, yeah, you can't see much. The intake. Anyways, I don't know if you get how the oiling system works, but basically there's continuously oil being fed through the center of this crank, which obviously gets right to this. Here's to these bearings here. Very good. Nice looking piston. Where did my little pliers go? Anyways, I'll take the piston rings off. I mean the piston itself off. I'm curious, I had the right pliers to do this. No, maybe they're right here. Yeah, back where they belong. Okay. Got it out. Okay. Push this out. The pin and the piston. Very cool. Okay, there is a difference. Okay, that's it guys. I think that's the end of the video. It keeps cutting out because I'm low on memory. See if I can get the approximate center to center. Looks like the same rod, about 50 millimeters center to center. So when we go to a 90 millimeter rod, if we do go, for example, that would be a 40 millimeter addition, leaving plenty of room for deck plates and all that to make this V-twin work. And we'll go with, this is maybe a 14 or 12 millimeter pin. We'll go at least 16. And we're going to maintain the same belt, but what we're going to do is run a small shaft that has a sprocket with a really tiny chain right next to this that then runs off the main crankshaft. That way we don't change the belt length. A few more chains to worry about, but it's going to work. And it's going to be a very serviceable engine, very reliable. Quite pleased to see that steel bore. I still need to do some math and make sure I didn't get ripped off displacement wise, but let me try to check this stroke one more time. Assuming this is a full circle crank, which it may not be. It's not a very good way of doing it, but I'll set that as my origin. Now that's 0. Flip the rod around. So it's saying it's most likely a nominal 29 stroke. So let's do the math on that. I mean, I'm gonna reset my origin. 29 by 40, did I get ripped off? When the 35cc is 39. And I think I measured this one, also the same stroke. Alright guys, final little bit of this video. Little bit disappointed. So here's what I purchased, 160 bucks. I paid a little more because this was supposed to arrive faster. I had an Alibaba one coming, and it looks like it's going to come tomorrow. And I was just getting impatient because they said it might come a month from now. So I ordered this one. They said it was actually going to arrive last week, but it didn't. 43 by 33. Now I'm measuring definitely no more than 40, and the stroke, I'm thinking it's 29 or 30, but definitely not 33. And so anyways, this is what I just took apart. It's definitely not this. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Now this one I have coming from Alibaba, and this one is actually like a brand name Chinese, anyways, that's a reputable brand as far as I know. Again, saying 43 by 33, which what I just took apart is not. Now we come over here, engine displacement calculator, 40 by 31. I'm being generous with the stroke. It is a 40 bore. At most, it's 39 cc. But realistically, it's a 36.4. Now that makes sense. The 29 by 39 for the GX35. But for a GX50, just going up 1 millimeter on the bore, frustrating. But you know, I guess the way they see it is they gave me a steel bore liner, and they also increased the intake size and they bored the intake bigger. I noticed that. So I suppose it does make more power, but what is going on here? Like, I want my 43 by 33. This throws a big wrench in what I got going on over here. Now this is a super rough, so this is just for bouncing ideas around. But if we're gonna be making V-twins, I need to get these standardized, these top ends. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and forth with China a little bit and Amazon. This is quite the situation. Anyways, this clutch here is actually going to be, I'm going to run this guy. I'm just going to get rid of this gear, and we don't need a center bearing, just a plate. And basically the primary drive, which will be in this oil bath, there'll be a bearing inside here and a bearing outside here, will drive the plate that holds the clutch pads. Just like our original application. And then we'll have the same old clutch plate, and this centerpiece here will be this here. And this will be what drives the two gears, the two speeds. This one I think I'm gonna go with a 15 tooth, and this one a 21 or 22. And then there will be a little engagement mechanism here and here. And I'll have this be hollow, and it'll be like our original clutch shaft, and the actual selector mechanism will be on the end of the back side of the shaft here. So you'll be able to select gears with the mechanism that's external. What else do I got going on? I want to go with one of these type of twist throttles for the 2-speed, because it's going to be a first, a second, and a neutral in the middle. And I want to keep everything very simple and very positive and solid. So twist it all the way forward for first gear, twist it in the middle for neutral, and twist it all the way back for second. I figure that's going to be the way to go. And yeah, just a lot of sport bikes come that way, so looks like we got our work cut out for us. This is a little bit frustrating, but bear with me, guys. I guess, I mean, I can get, I am making my own crankshaft, so let's say I push it a little bit. 44. We might be making 88cc engines, but I mean, if it makes 4 or 5 horsepower, I'll be okay with it. Also, this engine case here, I suppose I don't see why I can't make this for a 2-stroke as well. Just have a 2-stroke crankcase here, because the interesting thing is, the primary drive and the crankcase are already separated. Like that, I already explained that with the oiling and all. Which means this design lends itself to a 2-stroke engine. What I'm saying is the primary drive, the chain that goes from here to this crankshaft up here, is isolated from this main crankcase. And that's because, like the way I explained how the oiling system works and all. And even up here in the valve cover, there's a wall here separating this side of the valve cover from this side. Anyways, I need to take a break. I need to go get lunch. It's too much.